everyone is crashing out over this because ever since the Milwaukee Bucks were knocked out of the playoffs, there has been a ton of discourse regarding Giannis Antetokounmpo and a trade incoming. And of course, the Raptors have long been linked to the Milwaukee Bucks superstar, and they've even been brought up in recent discussions. But of course, a heavy price would have to be paid in order to bring Giannis in, and that would include Scottie Barnes, who of course, I am of the belief, a lot of Raptors fans are of the belief that he will be a superstar out there in the NBA, but when you have a guy that's a top 3 player available, it leads to some heated discourse, some stuff that's fired up. And frankly, it's not just fans here now at this point. It's also analysts going at each other. Everyone's cutting each other's throat in terms of their opinions out here in this whole discussion. So we're going to break down how the Raptors fan base, analysts, everyone going on regarding this whole situation. Break it all down out here in this video. But folks, you guys have been crushing it, hitting that subscribe button as of late. We're very close to 37,500 subscribers. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so we can continue our march, our push towards 38,000 subscribers in order to maximize our chances of getting Cooper Flag. Put some good omens in the air in terms of getting that top overall draft pick. But let's dive into it because, again, it's if you haven't been watching the videos lately, if you haven't been keeping up to the latest transaction stuff across the NBA, Giannis ended up flaming out of the playoffs with the Milwaukee Bucks, and it was an ugly ending. Shams Charania came out and revealed that Giannis' representation, the Milwaukee Bucks, are having some serious discussions about his future in Milwaukee, and all signs are pointing to both, Giannis and the Bucks parting ways out there in the off season. So that's been a huge bit of discourse, and the Toronto Raptors have been linked in these discussions, as John Hollinger, former Grizzlies GM now at The Athletic, said. However, 2 places the Bucks could look for a partner is San Antonio and Toronto, where team president Masai Ujiri has been rumored to be scheming ways to get Giannis since roughly forever. The trade equation here is pretty simple: Toronto's 2025 lottery pick and Scottie Barnes, plus whatever draft considerations the Bucks would want to level out the deal. So the Raptors have all of their first-round picks to be able to put into a trade. So when John Hollinger's discussed this, we broke down in previous videos all of the stuff that has linked the Raptors to Giannis, all the odds, all of those types of things. No crazy developments out there on that front, except essentially how the fan base is feeling in regards to this Giannis hunt, and most specifically in regards to Scottie Barnes, because I think everyone has maintained the stance. Giannis on the Raptors would be amazing, would be awesome. Him in this squad, right? Him rocking the Toronto Raptors jersey would be an amazing sight to see. No one disagrees with that, but the price tag is what we all have to contend with out there for this Raptors future, because of course, Scottie Barnes is the main piece that has to go back in the package. If we're going to compete with the San Antonio Spurs of the world, the Brooklyn Nets of the world, to have a multitude of draft picks in order to facilitate these trades, the Raptors need something better, and Scottie Barnes has to be the piece that's involved in that. Again, I'm not saying I'm jumping at the bit to trade Scottie Barnes for Giannis, but if we want to be competitive, we want to take these talks seriously, Scottie's just going to have to be involved, or else there's no point in even bringing this type of stuff up. So what has the reaction from the fan base been to all this? Because, again, we've seen, I'll bring up some comments from our comment section, the last little while. Basically, so there's a lot of dichotomy, split in terms of how people are saying. So basically, the Raptors will give up their future for a small window with Giannis and supporting cast that couldn't make the playoffs. This team would not win a title, and then in a few years, the franchise would be screwed. No thanks. So that's coming from Heido there. But then you also have some comments saying that, the Scottie Barnes homers in this comment section is crazy. I take Giannis in a second. We've had years to see Scottie do the same stuff, and he's great defensively, playmaker, all that stuff, extra pass, but he can't shoot and hardly dribble, all that stuff. So this is, I'm not bringing up all the comments. There is a split. There's a divide amongst Raptors fans, getting likes, getting people up, because again, usually there's a narrative that everyone runs with. People are passionate in both directions out here on this, willingness to give up Scottie Barnes for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it's not just fans, it's also analysts. Doug Smith came out and had a minor crash out there in his Toronto Star article saying that, I'll try to answer your concerns. Giannis, as who he's referring to, is 30, not 45. He's fitting the mid-20 guys is easy. Plus, I'd rather have the Raptors add a veteran, let alone an NBA champion, MVP, and Finals MVP, than a teenager who's maybe 3 years away from maturing. So talk about a draft pick there. So I can't say this louder. If the idea of rebuilding is to get better players, then why the heck wouldn't they try to get one of the top 3 players in the NBA. So, I wanted the direct screenshot there because the all caps is a minor crash out sort of vibe. But he went on to discuss how, and yes, keeping Barnes out of the deal is the perfect scenario, virtually impossible. But yeah, you start with him out of the deal, but you can't, it cannot be a deal breaker, in my opinion. No, Giannis might not want to leave, but I know enough about him that there's, for him to join some super team is not seen as a ring chaser. He wants the challenge, and frankly, given the state of the East compared to the West, Toronto's awfully close to competing and playing for the NBA Finals than a lot of the West teams. So, and Doug Smith came out with a pretty significant, especially, the all caps out there in the article writing, say, why it'd be stupid to not go out there and go get Giannis Antetokounmpo if he is available. So, insinuating in that whole spiel in that article that he'd be willing to trade away Scottie Barnes. And this is a lot of people, again, fired up because Giannis, you look at his stats, 30 points per game, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.2 blocks per night. Again, only 30 years old. The 3-point percentage, he's not that outside shooter, but he's a top 3 guy out there in the NBA. That's the reality of it. Whereas you compare it to Scottie Barnes, who is, close to 6-7 years younger, but 19 points, 7.7 rebounds, 5.6 assists. His jump shot hasn't been that great this season, but it's definitely further along than Giannis Antetokounmpo's is for sure. But Scottie, again, shows that high potential upside, shows that skill level that is encouraging, but didn't take the massive leap a lot of people were saying, but still is really effective on the defensive end and is enjoying playing in Toronto. Like, fits the culture. He's the guy, the building block that we're currently building around. But the reality is, you can't argue that Giannis is clearly the better player. And the question is, that's arise because 1-2 windows, the next 1 to 2 years, trading for Giannis is without a doubt unproportionally. It is just stupid to argue that trading Scottie and picks for Giannis in the next 1 to 2 seasons is not the right move for Toronto. That's inarguable. That's nonsensical to argue against. But it's, how is the future of this organization going to be built up? Because can Scottie become a guy that's close to the level of Giannis Antetokounmpo, right, out there in the future? And then you have him locked in. He's a homegrown star. You have all these things. Not to mention the additional draft picks that have to be, attached to that deal. Because, the Bucks right now are not accepting Giannis straight up 1-for-1 for Scottie Barnes. So you have the ancillary assets that are involved in a Scottie Barnes-Giannis trade. Those are all things that you have to factor into that point as well. Now, I'd imagine Scottie Barnes has immense trade value, so it's not going to be, Scottie and 5 firsts or something along those lines, but it's likely Scottie and 1 to 2 firsts, maybe an Ochai, maybe one of those pieces out there involved in that. So those are all considerations that you have to make in this trade. And while I hate coming out here on these videos and being like, oh, I don't know, whatever, it's an impossible answer. It's a possible thing to really discuss because we don't know how good Scottie Barnes is going to become. He has moments where he looks like he's going to be a bona fide superstar across the NBA, a two-way star in the league. And that's frankly the Scottie I'm rooting for, I'm hoping for, and I'm optimistic about. I've leaned into the homers. I'm a big fan of Scottie. I think he can take that leap. But he is unequivocally not Giannis right now. And there's no guarantees. There's no things for sure because, again, a lot of people thought Scottie's jump shot would be taken a level up, and that's what we're hoping for the development. The jump shot didn't take that leap. He developed in other areas, but, it didn't develop in the areas probably most pinpoint in the front of Toronto Raptors fans' minds over the course of the season. So, with the ups and downs in development, his first to second year wasn't a massive leap, but second to third year was a massive leap, so then we all built the team around him and stuff. But, there's no guarantees that Scottie Barnes is going to become a Giannis-level player. It's very few people do. Giannis is arguably going to be one of the top 20 guys all time before his, career is over. So, it's a very, very tough decision for the Raptors to add all these assets and to do this. But, the Masai Ujiri, he's made home run swings before. He's taken, he's gone up and tried to get those grand slams. And it led to a championship once. We'll see if he tries to pull off another one like that out here in the offseason. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. You guys have the best thing as far as subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.